What's going on, everybody? Quam Credible here, just to bring you a theory video that I've wanted to talk about for a couple weeks now, but just haven't had the opportunity to. It will be surrounding Asta's arm. Now, obviously, if you are a anime only and you don't want to be spoiled, I would click off this video now. But I feel like most of us here kind of already know what's going on. It's with Asta's like newly acquired devil arm, at least. A couple chapters ago, in his fight against Dante, he sacrificed his arm for the powers of his devil. From what it looks like right now, we do know that this arm does amplify his anti-magic abilities significantly, as well as has given him the ability to imbue anti-magic into Yami's katana. That's what we know. And as for what the future of this arm is kind of what I want to talk about today. Now, I feel like a really useful way to like kind of determine where a series can go, or not even a series, we can look at it on like a smaller scale, but even where a character could go, you can take a look at the mangaka. So we can look at Tabata. Now, as we know, or maybe not all of you know this, but Tabata is a huge fan of Berserk. Like, to me, that's common knowledge, but again, everybody might not know that. Now, not to talk about Berserk, but Tabata's other series that he's a huge fan of that a lot of people don't know about is Yu Yu Hakusho. He was a huge fan of Yu Yu Hakusho, in particular Hiei. Now, in a interview he had, I'll put it up on screen so you guys can see it because it's mad old. I want to say it's from 2017. Like back in 2017, I want to say we only had like 4 or 5 volumes of Black Clover. Like we were like right before the cave arc, going into the cave arc with Partry and the third eye. So this was a long time ago. This was a minute ago. But in that magazine a long time ago, the authors were to draw like their main character alongside another character that they wanted to. So like Oda drew Luffy with Goku, this horrible cursed image that no one needs to see. Hirokoshi drew Deku with like Naruto and so on and so forth. But Tabata drew Asta with Hiei, and it's in this interview right here that I'm going to read from, so I can tell you guys exactly what he said. Tabata's thing is, I was super hooked on Yu Yu Hakusho as a child, and I read all the volumes on my bookshelf so many times that they were all rugged now. I loved Hiei the most. The evil eye, the black demon flames, the black dragon king flame, his cool personality, and his strength despite his height. I even copied Hiei and added some evil eye characters in my manga, and I still am now. So with that, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Yu Yu Hakusho, but the character Hiei, he has like this third eye on his head, that like basically it's not crazy important, but basically when it opens up he gets more powerful. Now it's not like some kind of Super Saiyan transformation or anything, but it's very similar, or I guess I shouldn't say it's similar to the third eye, but it's the third eye, like how they use it is very similar to Hiei. It kind of just opens up and they're just more powerful than what they were. So with that we can see that Tabata took direct inspiration from Hiei into these characters, like directly into these characters. So you're probably thinking, how does this pertain to Asta's devil arm? Now, the other things that Tabata loved about Hiei, like other than his, Jagan Eye, was Hiei's Dragon of the Darkness Flame. Now, in short, for those of you who haven't seen Yu Yu Hakusho, or maybe like not super familiar with it, just a quick rundown on what it is. Dragon of the Darkness Flame is basically a fire that is in the deep pits of the demon world that the user, being Hiei, so Hiei uses his own energy to kind of lure the dragon out from the demon world and channel it through his arm. So with that, you can kind of already see some similarities, or at least if you can, I'll draw them for you. So basically, Asta with his, devil arm didn't necessarily lure his anti-magic devil just because his anti-magic devil is already, in his grimoire. But basically he is channeling it through his arm, like at the cost of that. So from there, we can kind of see that Tabata more than likely took inspiration from Hiei and used it in Asta for Asta's arm. Like, it's basically clear as day. So from here we can kind of see what Hiei did with his Dragon of the Darkness Flame, and then using that we can go and see where Asta could possibly go with it. But the first thing of note that a lot of people remember from Hiei's usage of said arm is that he was in horrible pain afterwards. Like after he used it, his arm was like scorched down, like all the way to like close to the elbow, not particular. Whereas Asta, it's kind of his whole arm is taken, but it's not necessarily in pain. Like we haven't seen Asta in like deep agonizing pain, and I believe that Asta will probably get such a pain if he attempts to really use it. Like when he attempts to draw out the power, I feel like it'll cause him pain. But from there, Hiei was eventually able to like control the power to an extent where he was able to like condense it down and seal it in a tattoo on his arm. Now I believe that Asta will eventually be able to, like how his arm is all black right now, I believe at some point he'll be able to condense it down to a mark or tattoo of some sort, which I think would look really dope if he was able to get some type of like tattoo or design or mark on his arm instead of just having it all charred and black like how it is. It could also be similar to how all the Dark Triad have marks that are just on them all the time despite them using devil powers or not. I think this mark could be symbolic of that, saying like, oh, that's just how they have condensed their devil powers down into a mark. Like I'm theorizing that Asta will do something similar on his arm. Now as for what he'll be able to do with it in the future, now there's definitely no doubt that his anti-magic is more than likely significantly more potent when he's using this, seeing as he is able to just immediately erase Dante's singularity. And there's also the added benefit of him being able to imbue weapons with anti-magic, which it'll add to Asta's arsenal. Like I've seen no shortage of people speculating on what Asta could possibly use in the future, from more swords to axes to spears. I think a scythe would be cool. Granted, there's no really added benefit to having a scythe, but I think it'd be neat to have. But I don't really want to talk about the weapons he could possibly imbue more than what I believe he can possibly do with the arm in general. Because right now we've only seen Asta use his weapons, and that's kind of what a lot of his focus on is the weapons. But I believe that with his arm now he could possibly actually use anti-magic similar to how people actually use magic. Like how people can actually shoot like condensed blasts of magic. I believe with his arm, Asta can possibly be able to shoot condensed blasts of anti-magic, or even be able to, like, you know how some people have like a bit of creation magic. Not saying that Asta's going to be able to create like something huge out of anti-magic, but at least like a shield or some sort, like just a little circle, just like a little barrier, just to be able to like help block against magical attacks, because Asta is severely lacking in terms of defense. He pretty much has to parry at everything. So I think if he had the ability to cast the anti-magic shield, like just a little barrier, almost like a ward. As anybody played Skyrim, you know how you just have like a little ward, almost like that, but just made of anti-magic. I think that'd be really interesting. And I also can't help but feel that the anti-magic arm will have some type of bigger blast attack, just because like it seems like in shonen they always give like the protagonist like a big like ranged attack, similar to Naruto's Bijudama, or similar to Ichigo's Getsuga, or similar to Goku's Kamehameha, or like I could really keep going, but like it just seems like typically main characters have a big like ranged attack. The only one that I can't think of that has one is Luffy. Luffy doesn't really have any big ranged attacks, but he stretches. But that's I'm getting off topic. But I believe that Tabata will give Asta a huge blast ranged attack, basically made of anti-magic, which would be crazy dope to see. For the most part, all we can really do at this point is speculate and wait. We do know his training with Noct should be coming up pretty soon here, since Noct did just say he was going to train him. So I'm very interested to see where that goes as far as the story and his training. Let me know down below what you guys think Asta's arm could possibly do, and also let me know what you guys think of the stuff concerning Hiei and Asta, seeing as Tabata is a huge fan of Yu Yu Hakusho, as he said in his 2017 interview, and just how you already seen how many parallels he drew between Hiei and the Third Eye, and seeing what his other favorite things are. It would just only make sense that he would possibly take inspiration from those as well and add them into his main character. I really feel like even Asta's height is almost derived from Hiei, but I might be going too far on that. Like I said earlier, let me know down below how you guys feel about that theory. Make sure you guys like and sub to the video and the channel. I definitely appreciate all you guys' support. It makes me feel good on the inside, and outside of that, I'm Quite Incredible, and I will catch you guys in my next video.